Hey guys, welcome to 2021. I hope everybody is doing good and feeling good and excited about the new year. It's been a hot minute since I've been on here. I'm actually like a month late because I've been so busy with my side other businesses that it's been just very crazy, very busy, and I hope the same for you guys. I am going to be starting with a brand new deck, and I love it. It is absolutely amazing. It's the Light Seers deck, tarot deck, and it's just fantastic. I really like the imagery on it. I like the messages that it brings, so we're going to be using that today and probably throughout this whole deal. So I am going to focus, I promised in December's videos that I would be looking at love as well as the main focus of the month, and I wanted to focus on the astrological energies, and I devised the questions based on all of the different astrological changes that we'll see. And this reading is actually going to be covering January and February because I am late and I don't want you guys to wait a full month to get January, and I like to disperse kind of one by one. So you're not waiting. I'm going to do a combination of January energy and February energy. But before we get started, I did want to just give a quick message on how those energies are going to look for you, and then I will kind of specify a little bit further for your particular zodiac as well. But for everybody in general, the first 2 weeks or so of January is going to be really focused around that new moon solar eclipse energy, and it's kind of coming from mid-December in the sign of Sagittarius and kind of into January. That energy started out with these promised, opportunities of exploration and discovery and kind of this awakening and giving us that courage to expand our horizons and gain some insight from experiences and not feel quite so anxious about the end of the year, but more excited for the beginning of the new year. So you're a little bit more inclined to nurture yourself, your faith, your hope, your vision. And it's really, as we get into January, I would recommend not to jump too much into new adventures. I certainly would be a bit more aware of your impulses this coming month. As you follow through, just be easy at this time. Impulses can definitely work the better of us if we're not in tune with our needs, and it can lead to mistakes if we are not focused on that properly. So just watch for making decisions while in the freedom of all cost kind of mindset. Okay, now at the end of January, Mercury is going retrograde. Don't freak out. It's going into the sign of Aquarius on the 30th. And the main questions I'm focusing in the end of January and beginning of February does focus on Mercury retrograde, how you can prep for it, what you can do to kind of stay in touch with staying a step ahead of the game here, so to speak, so that you don't have a whole lot of you have more benefit from the retrograde than you do that decline that a lot of people can sometimes feel. Mercury retrograde in Aquarius will kind of tap into our more humanitarian side of things. So more prone to inner muse when it comes to innovative ideas, or slowdowns and delays might be likely when it comes to productivity, as opposed to being more in touch and in tune with your relationships, if you will. Okay, as we get into February, we are going to have an accumulation of planets. Jupiter, Saturn, Mercury, and the Sun are going to come into Aquarius, and this alignment will be boosted with the entry of Venus in the sign of Aquarius as well. So it'll tell us more about the desire for emotional independence, and on the other hand, with the square between Saturn and Aquarius and Uranus and Taurus, it will also have it'll allude to eternal resistance to changes. So also be aware of that when you are maybe facing some shifts that you might feel a little bit outside of your box. You definitely don't want to necessarily just allude from it. You want to look at it, especially if it's during that retrograde period, on what that lesson can bring for you. Other than that, the best time to ask for a favor is going to be February 12th through the 13th, when the planets are adding a special blessing in a beautiful way. Okay, so we're going to kind of get into this. I've got about 8 or 10 questions for you guys. I will find out the best message for you when it comes to love, and then when we get into the March readings, I will really start looking into that, but I want to focus more on you for the first part of the year. Okay, so let's get into it. I appreciate your patience with all that, but a lot of good information. I think you should be informed. That's super important, so let's get into it. All right, guys. All right, Scorpios, let's take a look and see how this I don't know else? How this Capricorn energy is affecting you, and then we'll get into the Aquarian energy. This reading, like I said, does cover February and January. And let's just take a peek. And first question is going to cover where do you need to apply that Capricorn energy this month, all right? So let's take a peek and see. For Scorpios, new moon in Capricorn energy, we've got the Two of Cups in reverse and the Ace of Wands. So really apply more of your energy, less on the emotion, more on making some actions and taking some actions with things that where your potential lies. So it could be more, related to career based as opposed to energy and relationship based. Judgment in reverse and the Hierophant in the upright. So goals that need attention here, we've got possibly living in the past, not realizing certain things that need to be addressed. The Hierophant is about a better opportunity or something that is a new step that you can take that will increase, your path into a higher level. A new opportunity coming, a contract or some type of, like I said, opportunity that you can get into, new relationship possibly. The more you can release your fears and anxiety about this, the more you're going to be able to have this new beginning. But I see that there are certain things that are just kind of holding you back. What do you need to be cleansed of with regards to that? Five of Wands. You're almost in your own way. Just conflict about maybe things that happened or things that were said that are kind of in your way. Instead of riding with the change, there's almost like a sense of, emotion there because you haven't been able to find the meaning of it. Even though you have this optimistic view of pursuing it, there's just still this blockage there. So releasing, whatever the judgment is, whatever this emotion is, and coming from this from a clean slate, just a white room where you can add or subtract as you need, but you're not feeling in this loss. You're not in this disappointed, emotional, just depressing energy. This is going to get you nowhere. This consumes everything that you've got to offer. Instead, that's where you're detaching. You're detaching from that energy, all right? And what you're going to do, your next best practical step, is going to be the Page of Pentacles. It's going to be taking and planting that first seed so that you can have that skilled, solid, feet on your ground. You've got this. You've got your doors are opening because you've got a solid sense of self, and you're able to learn without the ego, and you're able to teach without the ego, and both the way goes hand in hand. And that's something that is priceless for a Scorpio because you guys do so well in that, but that ego part does kind of play a part, especially when you've got emotional aspects taking place. It can cloud judgment at times, okay? So we're releasing from that old energy and that depression, and we're taking a practical step towards being open towards learning and teaching in the same type of way. The student becomes the teacher becomes the student, okay? And being okay with that. Not having any emotion. Again, let the emotion out of this. As we get into February energy, we've got this new moon in Aquarius, okay? So we've got the Five of Swords for how can you expand on your vision. So the Five of Swords is really talking about, again, looking at that egotistical gratification and the negative results from it. What relationships were lost from this? What kind of situation did you feel a year ago in this particular situation? And finding meaning and synchronicities to that so that you can avoid problems but expand on your vision in a positive way. Four of Swords. Take a rest on old ways of doing things. Just detach from that. Retreat from the idea that a debate and an argument is going to be productive. It's just not. It's just not. Eight of Cups in reverse. Instead, enjoy what the Aquarian energy can bring and benefit for you, which is a retrieval of something that may have been lost, a pursuit of contentment, something that makes you very happy. When you release the emotion, you can watch how much it can actually bring you contentment of emotion, happiness. How will the retrograde affect you? Queen of Swords. Leadership can certainly tend to lead to certain sufferings because you feel a little bit suffocated, or you might feel like just that boss mentality kind of frustrates you a little bit. There's a lesson here to be learned. It's not to piss you off, and it's not to get you in a position where you just don't want to deal. It's to bring you a different type of happiness here in a little bit. So the more you can just proceed with whatever this is, you're actually going to watch more happiness and more contentment come in the door. So new doors open that produce more of what you want, as long as you're willing to ride the change with sensitivity, not ego or control or emotion or negativity. How can you prep for the retrograde? Page of Cups. Be kind and sensitive and be well behaved, okay? If you got something that you need to deal with it. Don't let things just kind of go behind the wayside. And even though you can kind of be a little bit, you can lack a little bit of management and things that need to take, that need addressing, allow yourself to still produce the information that's needed for whatever task needs to be done. So if you need your car fixed, go get the information and go schedule the appointment, go get it taken care of. If you are needing something, you need to go to the doctor, you need to go to the dentist, you need to do whatever. Whatever it is that needs to be done that you have avoided, go take care of it, okay? Because that's going to be your best preparation to avoid any problems. And in what area do you need more balance? Okay, we've got the Nine of Wands and the Six of Swords. Some more support couldn't hurt. Yeah, some more support couldn't hurt, for sure. Nine of Wands would indicate that you might be a little bit overpressured, you might be a little bit spread thin, and that support in your family and in your friends is very helpful, but you might be a little bit lacking that at this point. Six of Swords is you need to take a break from these issues. So you might need to just kind of have a renewal, a rejuvenation, okay? After you get done with this retrograde, you might feel like you need to just kind of take a getaway and do a rejuvenation, and certainly do so, because I do see that that's where you could use some balance, okay? In the love department, all right, we've got the King of Wands, the High Priestess in reverse, and the Queen of Pentacles. So it looks as though you have your heart set on a certain person that has charisma and this type of energy that you really find attractive, and although they might not be 100% in the same position you are, it is somebody that you continue to find attraction to, and you're still kind of pursuing, and vice versa. Even though it's not exactly on 100% level right now, it is something that's just kind of there, and it's just kind of been, but the not knowing of where it's going to go is creating kind of a restriction for you. It's a little bit driving you crazy, and so I would recommend, as opposed to it like completely driving you nuts, you communicate about the situation and see where this other person stands. For some of you, it's not going to be what you want to hear. For others of you, it's going to be a matter of, hey, I'm going to be ready for this when I have this taken care of, or whatever. And there's going to be kind of this understanding taking place, okay, that it might not be what you want right now, but it's temporary, okay? But for whatever it is, I definitely feel like this is something that the more you fear or avoid letting go of the situation, or just letting it kind of ride out for what it means, the more disappointment you're going to have. So the suggested outcome to take with whatever's going on in the love department, the Fool in reverse. So see illusions for what they are, avoid taking a bad risk, and see the reality of the situation. Don't, man, of all of my zodiacs, you guys are the ones that kind of actually show more of this unfairness taking place. So you could be one to be taken advantage of in this particular couple months. So just be cautious of that. Go out with people that you trust, and the people who you know are going to be of good expression for you, of emotional stability and healing. and can maybe even screen a little bit. If you're dating, do some screening before you just go out with somebody, okay? Now, as far as your chakras go, I just want to take a peek and see kind of where you guys are at. Alright, spiritual awakening and the solar plexus chakra, which is soul healing. So you've got the crown chakra, solar plexus chakra. Both are showing that you are in need of a little bit more of a connection between, you know, that soul connection and that higher self connection, and all the way around. I think it could use some rejuvenation based on kind of where you're at with things. I think maybe you've just been broken down a little bit, kind of tested a little bit more than you want, spread a little too thin, and you need some grounding and some support, and maybe even a little vacation, just kind of to get away from all of those mundane energies. Okay, so if you need some support in finding out a little bit more about how to release those or what you can do about it, feel free to reach out, you guys. The link is below. Otherwise, have a great couple months. I hope you guys enjoyed the reading, and feel free to reach out if you need any clarification. All right, much love. We'll see you in March.